Hi everyone. I want to try a different approach and use my back camera and see if the quality isn't better. Welcome to the YarnCreations Podcast. I'm Adela from Pretoria in South Africa, and this is episode 19, I think. And I think today is the 19th of September as well. Welcome to new subscribers, and if you are a returning viewer and returning again and again, thank you very much. I really do appreciate every subscriber I have. I think today will be mostly just about knitting. I should apologize for my crochet subscribers or people who are not only interested in the crochet. I'm a bit on a knitting bend at the moment, so but I will return again to crocheting. I will always crochet blankets. I like crocheting blankets, so there will always be some of them, but I also have a few knitting blankets I want to do. But it's not going to be that long an episode. I just want to show you a few of the cowls I knitted again and what I'm busy with at the moment. So the first thing I can show you that is finished, I'll start with the things that was works in progress last time and that are now finished, and one of them is the Attitude Cowl by Julie Knits in Paris. So if you can see the little men, I'm sure you will be able to see the little men in attitude. And what is nice about this cowl, it is knitted double. So you knit a little piece and then you join it here, and then you make an I-cord, knit an I-cord that you just thread through, and then you can pull it in like that when you wear it, and it will close up nicely around your neck, so it won't be open. So if it's really cold, you can close it up nice and cozy around your neck. So that is a very nice project. I enjoyed very much knitting it, and I've talked last time about my issues with the distorted little men, the jog in where you join, that's in a color motif. You can maybe see it a little bit still. I've still not solved that problem totally, but as I said, I'm going to attend a workshop with Julie at the Bergen Strikker Festival next weekend, and maybe I'll have an opportunity hopefully to maybe ask her what she does when she's knitting something like this, because it's her pattern. But I did it in Bliss double knit, which I showed you last time. It's lovely yarn to work with, and I really think it makes beautiful color work. It knits up beautifully in color work. I really like the Bliss double knit it's a 3-ply double knit. I really like that for knitting color work. And something else I was also busy with last time is my beginner's Brioche Cow, that is also finished. And okay, this is the one side, and then in the other side there's no wrong side and right side for brioche. So this is the other side, so You can actually then wear it with this side outside or with the other side. So it's actually very versatile. And I knit this out of one of a kind yarns. That's a 4-ply double knit light worsted yarn, and 3.75 millimeter, and it's still very stretchy. And I just find that if I use a smaller needle, it's a little bit neater. My brioche is a little bit neater. So knitting a cowl in the round in brioche is for me a good way to begin knitting brioche, because you've only you knit with the one color around, and then you leave that color, and then you take the other one and you knit with that one. So you don't have in flat brioche, you've got 4 rows, 2 rows for the one side and 2 rows for the other side. So brioche is just, someone asked me if I can maybe explain. I'm not a brioche expert, and I think there's lots of very clear and detailed YouTube videos that you can watch. But the one thing that makes it much more understandable if you make a column, because brioche is only it's a 1x1 rib, like a knit and a pull. So you have to knit with the one color, and then you will slip the one with that's knitted in the other color, you will slip that and give it a yarn over. So if you make yourself a column, like the knit and the pull column, and what you have to do on that stitch and what you have to do with the other stitch in the other color, it will also maybe make it much clearer and help you to understand in the beginning what is happening when you knit brioche. So when you knit it in the round, you've only got the 2 colors to knit with. You will knit around with this one color, and then you will pull the stitch with its yarn over in the other color, and that will then give you the different colors and the pull row and the knit row, knit pull column and the knit column. So if you can just maybe structurize it for yourself in columns, and make it clear for yourself what color you are knitting and what color you are slipping with the yarn over, what stitch you are slipping with the yarn over, then maybe you will understand what you are doing, if I can say it like that. But once you've practiced it a little bit, I think it's a muscle memory. So the more you practice it, the more it will be the movement of knitting it will become easier. So once you've mastered brioche, it's actually such a nice textured pattern, and something that you can do a lot with, especially with yarns that you will probably never put together when just knitting plain stitches, but when you use it in brioche, it actually melts into one another, and you can then, because these 2 colors are so contrasting, and it seems that they are still working in the brioche stitch. So I hope that I didn't make it more unclear to you than what was my meaning is to make it more clear. So, and then the next cow I did was the Inspira. It's called the Inspira cowl, and there's a lot of projects on Ravelry that you can look up, and it's a free pattern. She gives you 3 options that in I think 3 different yarn weights and 3 different sizes. So, but you can actually combine the different options and yarn weights. You can combine whatever she explains and make the cowl your own, and use one technique of the one cowl in, say, another size and another yarn weight. So it's really such a versatile pattern. Here is mine. And I did it in the Katja Yarns Azteca Fine in 2 different colors. And all that is involved here is, with this one is 3 knit stitches and 3 pull stitches. And this is called corrugated rib. When you do the knit stitches in one color and the pull stitches in another color, it's called corrugated rib, and it's used a lot in color work knitting. So this is really a very nice way of starting to do color work. And it's also knit in the round, so that also makes it easier. And throughout I used the one color for the pull stitches and the other color for the knit stitches. The only thing I did differently is that she tells you from the beginning to pull with the one color and knit with the other color. But if you do that, your first row of your pull stitches will have both colors in it. If that sounds, I'm not sure if I'm putting it correctly, but what I prefer to do is to knit with the one color and knit the stitches I'm going to pull. The first row I knit them as well, and it's then much neater here where you start the pull stitches. And in between I did 2 rows of just plain knitting in the same color as the knit stitches, and then when I started the pull stitches again, I knit the first row where I'm supposed to do my pull stitches. I will knit, and then this is a little bit neater, I think. So if you pull those first stitches, you will see this color mixed with that color in your first row of pull bumps. So I think this is also a very versatile pattern, and there's so many possibilities of yarns that you can use together. It doesn't have to be color changing yarns. You can do your own color changes. Every time that you do a panel like this, you can use different colors. You can use it for yarn scraps. You can change your background color, the knitted stitches. You can change that color and keep this pull bump stitches the same color, or change or keep your background color the same throughout and change the pull bumps every time that you do the pull columns. You can change to different yarns. So there's many yarn possibilities. And the inside looks like this. So there you can see the floats where you didn't knit, of the stitches you didn't knit. Then there will just be a float over 3 stitches. So you never have to catch your floats because it's not long floats. So that is the Invicta cowl, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry, and I think it was published in 2011, and I think it's still a popular pattern. And then the other thing I did knit, and I finished. I'm going to put them on quickly for you because I'm very proud of them, is the Thistle Mats. It's a free pattern on Nurturing Fibres website, and I knitted it with a Nurturing Fibres Super Twist sock. So here is my Thistle Mats. That's the other side, the inside and the outside. And the one thumb is not so neat, but the second one I think is not bad. And I played around with how in my previous episode I talked about when you that you've got your one yarn that you carry underneath, and the other yarn that's supposed to be your background yarn that you carry over, and the other one is going underneath. But I realized that when you do a pattern like this, it's quite difficult to decide which yarn to carry underneath and which one to use over every time. And you actually have to change them around. So for this one, I kept the blue yarn underneath because I thought that when I started here, the blue yarn was over. And then I realized that the stitches are disappearing a little bit. So I changed it around and I used the blue yarn to go underneath. So that will be then my accent color. But then when you come to these little stitches, you can see that then they are disappearing a little bit. The gold color stitches are disappearing a little bit. So in this mitt, I changed the colors around all the time. So when I had to do these little yellow stitches, I made that color, the gold color, then again my accent color that goes underneath. And then that make those stitches more prominent than in this one. So I think when you do color work in like a motif like this, I think you will have to take it row by row and decide. And I think the problem is with my knitting is that my tension are not perfect. So I have to take in consideration, there's definitely, for me, there's a definite what's the right word? You can see the difference when I take the accent color over or underneath. In this mitten, the first one and the second one. So there's one or two things in that pattern that you just have to take in consideration, that the left and the right charts are switched. So I hope that I did tell Carly that, and I'm sure she will fix it. But where it says for the right, on the chart, right mitten, it's actually the left one, and the left one is actually the right one. And then she doesn't say what you have to do for the thumb, but I did tell her that as well, so I'm sure she will put that in the pattern. She just left that out, that you have to pick up your stitches, and then I just knitted a 1 by 1 rib for I think 4 rounds. And what I do when I pick up stitches here at the inside for the against the rest of the mitten in the hand, these stitches are live stitches that you just put on waste yarn or whatever. I picked up 3 extra stitches here to just close the holes there, and it seemed to work. and then you can always, when you've got that yarn and that you had to attach again to pick up stitches and knit the rib, you can always use that yarn also to close up any little holes that you have here. And she, in the pattern, it says that you need a 2.75 and a 3.25 needle. And it seems that you are actually only supposed to use the 3.25 to cast on the stitches here when you start the rib. And I knitted the rib with the 2.75 as in the pattern, and then I changed to the 3.25. She doesn't say that in the pattern, so I'm not sure if you have to do that or not, but for color work I think I'm glad I did change to the 3.25 for the color work section. Otherwise this would have been too tight and it wouldn't have fitted me at all. But because I did it with a 3.25, it does fit me quite well. So I'm really happy with these, and I think they will keep me warm in Norway. I'm leaving on Tuesday, so it's not far now, and I see the temperature, the maximum temperature is between, for the first few days that I can see, is 15 degrees. So I'm sure I will be able to wear my mittens. This is the Thistle mittens, and it's a free pattern on the Nurturing Fibres website. So that is all my finished objects, and I think I should just check if what I'm doing here is working, so just bear with me a little while. Okay, it seems to be still to be recording, so let's hope that this way will work, that I don't have to do it again. So what am I busy with? Let me just put that away. A very old work in progress that is, I did work on it since I showed it last, but not a lot. And this will be just a project that I will work on from time to time, and it's my patchwork Tunisian blanket. It's still not very big, but it has grown a little bit. I'm not sure what I couldn't remember what I had finished last time, but I know that I did do this panel at least, and this and this since I've showed it. And I'm only using scraps of sock yarn for this. What I like is it stays in my Brilliant Mummy clear project bag, and so that I don't forget about this project, so I can always see it, what's inside. And here is some leftovers still that I can use. I'm just waiting to gather more small little leftovers, because I need some light colors to balance it out, that I can put in occasionally in one of the squares. So it's just to get the correct placement of the colors, and that the same colors are not too close together. I will wait till I have some more scraps, and then I can use these ones again maybe later on. I will probably make it longer as well. I don't want to make it too long, and then I get tired of it, or I want to end it and then it's not wide enough. So I will rather add to the width and then later on add more squares to the length. And I think the joining is, I still like my joining very much. I just hope that I can remember how I do it if there's a long period of time passing. But I think I did explain it to you, but when I join through the back loop of the side stitch and the little bump that's at the back. So I join every row through those two back loops, and I think that gives it quite a nice and a neat join. So that is my patchwork Tunisian blanket that will always grow very slowly. And then I'm busy with two patterns from Stephen West. Not one, but two. So there's a little bit of a story. Let me just see if I can explain it to you. These yarns, I wanted to use these. It's 3 colors by also Nurturing Fibres Super Twist Sock. And if you can see closely, there's a navy speckle inside. In each of these 3, there's a navy or a blue speckle in. And I've also got the navy. It's the same navy that I used in my Thistle mitts. And I wanted to use them together. I think they go well together. So what I started then, I can just see I've got the names here of the 3, those 3 speckle colors. It's Brambles, Oma's Quilt and Marmalade. And it's Nurturing Fibres Sock. So I started the dotted rays with him, and then I realized that they will actually work very well for the exploration station. That's also a Stephen West pattern. So I only had a small section knitted up in the dotted rays with these yarns. So I frocked that and I started the Exploration Station by Stephen West. This is only a black and white photo. See, I shouldn't actually maybe show too much of the pattern, written pattern itself. So these short row sections, and then there's a brioche section, and then some different sections again. So I'm still busy with the short row sections. Here is what I've got so far. Not a lot. And so I'm at section 5, and then there's another short row section, section 6, and then I think I will then be finished with the short row sections. So he uses his short rows as part of, he makes it a design feature, so he makes yarn overs on top of the short row where you turn for your short rows, and makes that part of his design. So I'm thinking of, if I can finish the short row sections, then the plain, or what I call plain sections, that hasn't got any short rows. I can probably take this then with me for maybe in the evenings to knit when I'm in Norway. So then I won't need the pattern that much, or a stitch marker, because it's actually not very convenient to travel with a stitch marker. I put a stitch marker where I have to turn for the next row. So when I knit, I know I don't have to count and look and search every time. I know that I have to turn there. So then I take out that stitch marker, and when I knit back, I will put the stitch marker where then I will know for my next row where I'll have to turn. So it's not very comfortable to travel with a stitch marker that you have to put down or between your lips every time. So that is the exploration station. But then I had another bunch of yarns that was just in a corner waiting for something to be made with, waiting for the right pattern. And I decided that they will be perfect for the dotted rays. And that is very, very deep stash from One of a Kind yarns. It's what she calls her sport weight yarn. Sorry, this one has, it seems that I at some or other stage made something else with this and frogged it, because it's like this. I can't even remember, it was so long ago. So I'm using these two colors for the different wedges. And it's a sport weight, so that goes quite fast. Let me just see. So the short rows then stops every few rows to this side. I was just checking because there's actually no right and wrong side for this pattern. I think it doesn't really matter that much. But I don't think this is my last little yarn cake of the variegated. So what I was thinking that maybe I think I will still get one wedge out of this, and then maybe, I don't think there will be a lot left. Then maybe I can do the last wedge with this. I hope it will work. So there will be this, and then the green again, and then this wedge, and then the green again. And then I will have to see, because I think I'm then on wedge 14, and I think there's actually 15 wedges, but I will see how big it is, and then probably I will just do maybe the last two wedges only with the green. So this is really a stash buster. I'm not that worried that the yarns are not perfectly placed. But I do like this pattern a lot, and I think I will definitely knit more of the dotted rays, because there's so many variations that you can do on this pattern with different yarns, and you can really use this as a scrappy project as well. You can do every wedge in a different color, different yarn. Start with your smallest leftover, and then use your larger leftovers for the larger wedges at the end. And I know he's also got there's two variations on this pattern. So the variation is that he melts the colors throughout so that there's more of a flow and a gradient flow. So if you've got maybe also gradient yarns or a set of gradients, you can also use that for the different wedges. So there's a lot of different options when knitting this pattern. And it's actually very, very relaxing. There's no, you don't have to, if you use the stitch marker, that helps a lot to keep track of where you have to turn for your next row. So I will definitely always use the stitch marker when I do this pattern. So because the yarn overs must line up to form the pattern. So that is the dotted race. I've got a feeling that this is not one of my best episodes, but I wanted to show you what I'm busy with and what I finished. I think it could easily be a month, 3 weeks to a month before I do another episode. That's why I wanted to do one today. I thank you for watching, and please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.